discourse studded with various brilliant August shimmers of words and ideas. So the subject matter is a certain errandom in the Good Fellows show from the Stanford, somewhat right-leaning in the tradition of the older meaning of conservatism. It's called the Hoover Institute, which also houses the Bill Buckley Fireline show, which shows a certain demarcation in the attitude of sort of Reaganite Republican Party, and some people think he is overrated, and some people like the trajectory that he made into an agenda. Even amongst party apparatchiks of the Republican bloc, which to a certain extent includes the military. Ferguson has pointed us to an article from, I believe, 1917 from the great Max Weber. This article, I think, is called Science as a Vocation or something like that, or Science as a Way of Life, something like that, 1917. And what it propounds is a view which is founded, unbeknownst to Ferguson, on the reception of the Nietzschean teaching, which is common to Georg Simmel, who was by far the more penetrating, far more logical thinker than Weber, and Weber himself. So we see that as the distinction between transcendentals on the one side, so judgments about the good, about the true, and about the beautiful, and on the other side, judgments which are considered to be without the need for the transcendentals. So the transcendentals amount to the high ideas, which mostly Plato has discoursed on. The attempt to seal up the wounds that Nietzsche sees here in this openness of the two sides, on the one side the transcendentals, and on the other side the supposed side without them, and then the collapse of the distinction and the anarchy that ensues, is closed and settled by both Weber and Strauss. Refers to this as the sanitizing of Nietzsche for the university, and there's the best account of it is probably in the Albert Brecht a book, being a German jurist who participated in the most advanced circles in the then still Prussia around the year 1900, and then around, I think, in 1950, after the war in America, in the New School produced this book on social theory, on political theory. So there you could see the history of how the fact-value distinction took its current shape, which corresponds to the division of the hard sciences from any other disciplines. So not understanding that Weber here has produced a specific doctrine, Ferguson appeals to this, saying this should be the standard of the university as against the unfortunate things that have been witnessed according to the way he thinks about it. such as a Stanford teacher has apparently told his class to stand up and only the Jews to go stand in the corner and surrender their possessions or something like that, and then said, this is how you're treating the Palestinians, in order to make some kind of example similar. However, I should say on the other side that there's a universally accepted version of that, which is I think she was an Iowa school teacher in 1968 after MLK was assassinated, who made her children go through this, their grade school kids in a class, do that brown eye, blue eye experiment, which of course could have traumatized them. I mean, as it turned out, it seemed to be a pretty solid exercise, although maybe it could be used in deceptive ways, I'm not sure. But in any case, in other words, that the teacher doesn't have carte blanche to do whatever they want, but is much more limited, would then be to follow this specific theory of facts and values under this specific form of conceptualizing it, which comes out of the earliest students of Nietzsche, Weber, and Simmel, and which you could see in a close form in the book by Albert Brecht, called Political Theory.